Hello you beautiful people, and welcome to my brand new video where I'm gonna explain you guys how to cuddle a lion. So if you guys expecting me now to explain you how to cuddle a lion or what you need to do in order to be able to cuddle a lion, then I unfortunately have to disappoint you guys. Lions are apex predators. They're at the absolute top of the food chain. They're built to kill and definitely not made for humans to cuddle with them. So to make it clear once and for all, a clear statement, lions and other wild animals are not pets, nor should they ever be used or forced for human entertainment. Now, of course, a lot of you guys will say, but you interact with them, you cuddle with them, how come you can do it and we cannot do it? Now, throughout this video, I will answer some of the most asked questions about my life, and in particular, my relationship with the lions. Now, the most asked question ever is, how can I do this? I guess there's three particular terms in that: love, patience, and empathy. Now, love means that no matter what the circumstances are, you always act, behave, and make decisions accordingly to the benefit of the opposite. And in this case, it's the lions. Now, patience. Patience means to be consistent. You have to be always there, no matter how rough, tough, dirty, or bad things get. When they close their eyes, I'm there. When they open their eyes again after a lunchtime nap or so, I'm still there. I'm there when the camera is rolling, and I'm there when the camera is not even close to them. But the most important part of it is empathy. You have to be able to put yourself into the skin of a lion. I basically have to become a lion, act and behave like a lion. No matter how ugly, dirty, and uncomfortable it gets. A lot of people would think, oh, that's so gross, she's dirty, she's bloody and stuff like that. But honestly, if I would push her away in such a situation, it would show that I'm not part of it, because they actually enjoy that smell. They actually enjoy such situations. Right, my girl? Now, those three things in combination is the only way you truly can get accepted by a lion pride.
Hello, my girl.
And all this takes a lot of time. I mean, look at my situation. I know the lions since they are little, and we basically grew up together. And it's not different from humans. The longer you know someone, the better you know that person. The love grows, the respect grows, and the loyalty is there. But that doesn't mean that you cannot end up in a fight. Or that they're gonna treat you like a princess.
Close.
And that basically brings me to the next question. Are you never scared? The answer is absolutely no. Let me be honest with you guys. The moment I would feel fear would be the moment I would stop entering their living space and gladly step away. One thing I've learned in life is that fear is a terrible companion when it comes to maintaining or building a relationship. And this counts not only for animals, but also for humans. Think about it. Of course, there's always a high amount of respect there, but that has nothing to do with fear. Sometimes you can see me in videos just stepping away from them quickly because they catch up a fight with one another, and of course I don't want to end up between two lions fighting. And here comes the next question. Do they think you're a lion? Well, I can for sure say that they see me as part of their family, but does that mean they see me as a physical lion? Nah, I don't think so. According to my experience, they see me as something like a modified lion. I do adapt to their behavior and I of course follow their rules. but I think physically they rather treat me like a younger and more fragile pride member. For example, if they have offspring in a lion pride, the adult lions do not play as rough and tough with the younger ones as they do it with the other older lions. And I feel they treat me a similar way when it comes to physical contact. And even then, if they treat me softer than the other lions, I end up having all the time bruises and cuts and injuries. But you cannot avoid that because that's just part of a lion's life. How does it feel? I would say it's a very honoring but also humbling feeling. But ultimately, to be honest, there is no words which can describe the actual feeling I go through when literally living with them and spending time amongst an entire pride. You must imagine that's also the reason why I work out a lot. I mean, lions, they communicate very physically. So that means I need to be strong and stand my ground. Sometimes the whole domination game starts only by saying hello to one another and pushing against each other. And if they would push me around like a doll at all times, they would lose very quickly respect of me and then obviously try to dominate me at all times. And that would end up with much more injuries and maybe even more severe injuries. Are you the king of the pride, or which rank do you have? No, definitely not. I'm not the leader or the king or anything similar. You guys must understand, I distance myself from all kinds of competition between them. So there's no way I can consider or rank myself as a king. They do definitely know that I'm physically not on the same level as they are. I mean, they are 250 kg each. I'm around 100 kg. So even when they are greeting me, they can feel that I'm built different. That's why they also treat me differently from the other lions when we are playing and cuddling and play fighting with one another. Nonetheless, it always ends up somehow in cuts and bruises and injuries, but that's okay, because they're supposed to be lions. They're not pets, and they're not supposed to be pets. And this is the exact difference between a lion who is trained and tamed with meat and whip in comparison to one of the Hakuna Mipaka lions who basically lives a beautiful life amongst his social pride and just being a lion. But you can only be with them when they're not hungry. Now this is an absolute misconception, guys. Actually, it's the opposite way. When they're hungry, they're much more social. Because keep in mind, lions are social cats. They hunt in a team, in a pride. So when they feel hunger, they have to be good with one another in order to succeed and get some food. And in any case, you don't go and eat your family. Once you're family, you're always family. You don't just suddenly decide to kill your brother or sister and eat them. Now the interesting thing is that each lion has a very unique character, so the mood within the pride is different every day. So before I enter the lion property, I have to analyze their body language and their mood from afar. This will tell me in what mood they are, what's going on, has anything changed in their ranking system, is someone a little bit moody today or are they very cuddly, and that allows me to react accordingly and adapt my behavior onto their mood. But when I see from afar that there is tension in the air, or two of them maybe have an argument or could end up in a fight, I tend to sometimes not even approach them, because I don't want to end up between two fighting lions. That could end fatal for me. So the most important thing is always to stick to the rules of the king. My focus is on the leader, and he will tell me how I have to behave amongst them in order to not end in trouble.
He doesn't feel comfortable, not even with me.
And if I see that he's causing the trouble or having a very bad day, does not appreciate any closeness or, any love, I say, okay, I respect you, and I'll gladly step away from the situation. But how do you communicate with them? That's an interesting question. So the communication is based on two major things. First of all, the vocal sounds. And And second, and that's the major part of it, is the body language. It might be hard to believe for you guys, but lions literally communicate the same way as we humans do with one another. Just instead of using words, they do use their body and certain sounds to communicate with one another. They're constantly in an exchange, and when I'm sitting around them, just looking at them, for you it looks like a sleeping or chilling lion. For me, I can observe certain communications and arguments between them.
You see that? As I told you twice, I told you 3 times. One more time and I'll fuck you up.
There are some major body parts I look at in particular in order to read the basic body language of lions. Now here we're talking about the eyes, their head, the position of the head, their ears, their body posture in general, as well as their tail. And all of that in combination with different sounds, vocal sounds, mean something different. And if you can put all those different combinations together, you know basic lion language. Once you manage to do that, you scratch open the surface and are ready to dig much more deeper into the complex communication of lion language. Will the lions always recognize you? Of course, they will always know who I am. I mean, in the world of animals, especially social living mammals, the topic family and social environment is essential. That does not mean that you cannot be pushed out of a family, a pack, a pride, or a clan, but that means they will always know who you are. Now, when it comes to the Hakuna Mipaka Lion Pride, they can see me and recognize me already from afar. If you would stand next to me and walk with me towards the lions, they would immediately know by the way I move and the way I walk, this is Dean, we know him, he's family, and this is something or someone else. What's going on? And this leads me to the next famous question, which is, but I could go in with you, right? There is absolutely no chance another living being on this planet could approach the Hakuna Mipaka Lion Pride without being attacked or even killed. Actually, there is only 2 ways of how to be accepted by lions who are not trained to tolerate humans in their environment. So the first way is you're born into the lion pride, which is absolutely impossible. And the second thing is you challenge the current ruling king. You chase him away or you kill him and get the rest of the pride to submit to you and accept you as the new leader. Your family, your food, or your enemy. So if you can't be family, you are food or your enemy. And either way, they will kill you or harm you. Now, all this applies to adult or semi-adult lions who know who they are and where their spot in the pride is. But when we're talking about a baby, a cub, it's basically the same as with us humans. A baby does not care who you are or where you're from or what you look like. If it is a natural social being, it will try to bond with you and team up with you no matter who you are in its environment. And this is exactly the way how I achieved to form a lion pride out of 6 non-related lions. Obviously, it takes a lot of time and patience, and I had to bond with each one individually in order to be able to introduce them to one another at the later stage.
Right.
But since they were still very young, they had much more desire to bond with one another and become one family. And today they don't even know that they are not blood related, but that doesn't mean that they never fight. Especially amongst male lions within a pride, they do fight for a higher rank. And sometimes so bad that they split for a couple of weeks and then they find together again. Because in the end of the day, they're family. Now, having that said, the only person next to me on this planet who can approach the lions, be with them and live with them the way I do it is Noe. Noe is my brother, best friend, and the man behind the camera. Most of you guys ask yourself always, how can you shoot all those amazing videos and stuff like that? This is because of Noah. He was here from day one. He has helped me to form that pride. He has bonded with each and every animal the way I did. He went through all the ups and downs, all the injuries and cuts, and all the craziness. So as you guys can see, no matter how much you love animals or how much you think you have a great energy with animals, it's just simply an illusion to think you can visit the place a couple of times or read some stuff up and then all of a sudden become family with a wild animal. You literally have to dedicate your entire life, your entire being, with a lot of time and everything you are to this one being to be able to reach that level of bonding. Things have changed over time. At the very beginning, they were babies, they were cubs, everything was all about playing and playful and rainbows and sunshine. And over the time, as they grow older, they take their responsibilities much more serious. So also the entire relationship and the bond gets much more serious. So nowadays, it's not all about playing anymore. We're not just rolling around on the floor with the lions and just having a good time. It is much more based on respect and loyalty and your responsibility amongst them within the pride. And that comes also with showing boundaries. If nowadays they approach me in a very dominant way and cross the boundaries, I have to immediately show it to them. Same as they do it with one another. If they don't respect each other's private space in certain situations, they just smack each other, and I have to act the same way. And they exactly know when they did something wrong. And the same thing also counts for Noe, who is part of the lion pride but behind the camera. But if you do it with no reason, or if you force yourself on top of them, then they will give back to you, and believe me, as a human, you will lose that battle. Are you going in with any weapons, or what is the security setup for you? The answer is no, not at all. There will never be weapons or any security measures involved which can seriously injure or harm one of the lions. I am fully aware of the risk when I enter lion property, same as you guys are aware of the risk when you enter a car, or when you hop on a motorbike, or when you go for a swim in the ocean. In the early stages, we sometimes had a stick with us, which served as an extension of an arm, but shortly after that we realized, okay, it does not really make a difference. We anyways get all the injuries and cuts, so we rather just leave it. And then with the time, as they grew older and had those ranking fights between one another, we started carrying a pepper spray. And the use of it would allow us to stop a fight between them or avoid them from jumping on top of us and try to dominate us in a certain way. But up until today, we've never had to use the pepper spray at all. Lions are the happiest in their natural environment, doing just what lions do. This is also the reason why we have built the Live Wild Reserve, so that the lions of the Hakuna Mipaka Oasis can have a life as wild as possible, even though they were born in captivity. Why don't you release them back into the wild? Now, most of you guys would think they will not be able to survive in the wild, but that's not true. I'm absolutely sure and certain that they will be able to hunt for themselves, to protect themselves, and to easily survive out there in the wild. The big problem is no government would ever allow lions who are used to humans and human activity to be released out there in the wild. Unfortunately, all the Hakuna Mipaka lions have been born in captivity already before they came to my place, to the Hakuna Mipaka sanctuary. So they know what humans are, and often they associate human activity with food. So the first thing what would happen when you release them somewhere in the wild, they would find human activity, end up in the next village, maybe trying to hunt cows or cattle from farmers, or even being a threat to humans. And what would happen to them? They would get shot and they would die. Now you guys might remember the very first question you had. Why am I the one who's able to live with lions and touch lions and cuddle with lions and you shouldn't do that? Well, this entire video is the answer to it. If you can do everything I mentioned in this video and you're able to leave your life behind and dedicate your entire life to such a mission with those beings, then you might be someone as well who is justified to do what I do. But unless you cannot do that, rather observe them from afar, admire them, learn from them, and just be inspired by them. We need to learn to love them exactly the way they are and not the way we wish them to be. Please don't pay money to pet wild animals or take pictures with them. Using captive wild animals for tourist entertainment is never okay and goes absolutely against my beliefs. Lions and other wild animals are the happiest in nature.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to see what's next, then make sure to subscribe my YouTube channel right now. And if you want to see more content, you're so welcome to follow my other socials as well. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys later.